So apparently Tom Arnold can rest easy now that I'm issuing a correction on my statement from the January 19th episode of Short Time Shots. As Dan Ransick points out, Tom Arnold was not in Little Giants. Rather, that was Al Bundy himself, Ed O'Neill, who went opposite of Rick Moranis in the football flick. Where did I get my streams crossed? Remember, Ray, don't cross. Actually, it's Ray telling Venkman not to cross the streams. Anyway, I get my streams crossed. Tom Arnold, who, believe it or not, was allegedly a roommate with Scott Casber of Takedown Radio at some point in their college careers. Well, Tom Arnold was in Big Bully with Moranis. That one's on me, but guess what? Tom Arnold actually tweeted that, or responded to the tweet where Dan Ransick points out that, hey, it wasn't Little Giants, it was Big Bully. So, Tom Arnold, hey, man, you're probably not listening to the show, but, hey, at least you're listening on Twitter. In case you're wondering, this is Short Time Shots, a look back at the day's college wrestling scores and more from January 20th, 2018. I am Hall of Fame wrestling writer, announcer, and broadcaster Jason Bryant. I'm not a Vikings fan, but it sure would be cool if they got to play at home during the big game. I don't know if I can say Super Bowl. Anyway, back to the Little Giants thing for a second. That one's on me when I make a mistake like that. And I said that you cannot quote a movie if you haven't seen it. I haven't seen either of those movies all the way through. So, and they're both like, you got Rick Moranis. Anyway, best stay away from those references at all. So I really can't throw out the Little Giants movie reference. I'd love to yell more Student Prince's stuff. That's Heidelberg, by the way. Today also makes me feel old as my baby sister Kitty turned 32 today. I also threw a vice grip wrench through a wall today. That was interesting. Matter of fact, I might explain that just before we get to the day's news. So we've got, you got plumbing in your house, right? Everybody's got plumbing. So there was a crack in the trap between the bathtub and the drainage in the house. So we've got a somewhat finished basement. So go downstairs and there's a crack, and I tried to fill it. Tried some, that epoxy, whatever, and it just ended up dripping into a bucket. So I take the thing off, I rip it down, I go to Home Depot, try to match it up, come back. So, oh wait, this is the same thing. Go back to Home Depot, return it. Home Depot guy goes, no, you got to go to Menards for that. So okay, good. Menards is like halfway between Home Depot and my house. No biggie. Get there, and basically, when I can't do a simple thing like install like a J trap. Or it's two screws. That's two valve. You got to screw together. And I'm one of these people that my temper doesn't really come out unless I feel like there's something I should be able to do that I can't do. It's like if I can't throw a ball and hit something. Well, that's probably a bad idea. I played first base for a reason, but it's just one of these simple things. Like, okay, it's very simple. It should. It took me 4 hours to finish this job because I had to go to Home Depot twice. I had to go to Menards, come back, had to run upstairs, get gloves. Had to basically spackle the drywall, which is actually not very thick drywall from where and I think it's that I didn't even throw it in. Well, okay, I was kind of enraged a little bit. So I threw it and it just, I'm like, oh, that's not going to be good. Try to explain that to my wife. Anyway, you're not here to listen to me talk about drywall and throwing a vice grip for distance. This one, we're talking wrestling here today. 9th-ranked Arizona State won its 9th duel in a row with a 27-15 win over Pac-12 rival Oregon State. The Sun Devils honored the 1998 NCAA Division I Wrestling Championship team led by Coach Bobby Douglas, which still to this day is the only Western team to have won an NCAA Division I Wrestling Team Championship. Arizona State's Ryan Milhoff scored 2-2 late to rally past Ronnie Bresser at 125, but Oregon State did get one notable upset, if you can call it that. Amar Desi topped Arizona State's car rental eligible Tanner Hall. Actually, if he's not eligible to rent a car today, it will be by the end of the month. I think his birthday's right around now. He beat Tanner Hall 9-5 in a battle of returning All-Americans, even though Desi is a Canadian. Desi's been slow coming off his return to the lineup, but this is a solid win over Hall. Zaid Valencia went beast mode again, registering a fall at 137 at 174 pounds. Z-Money now has 6 falls, 6 techs, and 6 majors on the year. Only 4 of his matches this season haven't ended in bonus points. That does not count the unofficial win over Mark Hall at the All-Star Classic. Number 22, Wyoming finished its trip through the Dakotas with some great scenery and a 32-6 win in Fargo over North Dakota State. No word if Mark Branch was waiting outside of the Bison Turf for it to reopen. Highlight there was at 133 pounds, where Wyoming's Montori Bridges ate up Cam Sikora 14-4, scoring 6 takedowns in the victory. Number 23 Lockhaven beat George Mason 40-6 in the EWL. Harvard beat Franklin and Marshall 30-6. Here's a little tidbit that most of you don't know. Harvard head wrestling coach Jay Weiss, Franklin and Marshall alum. Yeah, went to college in Lancaster. I know that he prefers Hildy's over Brendy's, but I like the Irish hole in the wall more so than the other one. The Irish hole in the wall is being Brendy's. Hildy's also only serves hot dogs. They don't know anything about no hot honey garlic sriracha wings. Austin DeSanto returned to the Drexel lineup to power the Dragons past Army West Point 20-12 in the EIWA. DeSanto put up 24 points. Surprise, surprise, surprise. In a major decision victory over Lane Peters at 133. Good win by Drexel's Stephen Lowasso, Lancaster native, over Rocco Kaywood at 197 pounds. Utah Valley improved to 7-3 with a 2015 non-conference win over CSU Bakersfield. What's interesting about this match is that it is a non-conference win in wrestling, but Utah Valley and CSU Bakersfield are in the same all-sports conference. They're both in the WAC. As you know, the Wolverines are in the Big 12 for wrestling, and the Roadrunners are in the Pac-12. So it's just complicated, man. They need to DTR. They need to define the relationship. Or like it used to be on Facebook. It's complicated. Anyway, Taylor Lamont won his 11th match in a row at 125 pounds for Utah Valley. In Division II, top-ranked St. Cloud State improved to 14-0 and won its 23rd dual meet in a row with a 32-6 win over the Marauders of the University of Mary. UW Parkside beat Indianapolis and Bellarmine in conference action. Moving to Division III, you want to know something crazy? The Iowa Conference within Division III has been called the Big Ten of D3. Powerhouse teams, powerhouse individuals. Well, second-ranked Wartburg just won its 201st conference dual meet in a row. In a row? Yeah, the Knights beat Dubuque 50-0, Central College 39-6. They're the Dutch, by the way. And the Beavers of Buena Vista 54-0. They hit into a quote-unquote rough stretch here with Coe, Augsburg, and Loris back-to-back-to-back to close out the regular season. Speaking of Loris, which is in Dubuque, I had TJ Miller, their head coach, on the most recent episode of the Ice Hour. And the forecast of an Iowa Conference championship coming down to Miller's Dewhawks and his alma mater, Wartburg, almost got toasted. 5th-ranked Loris beat 7th-ranked Coe College 17-16 on the third criteria, which is most match points, and matches not ending in a fall, to remain unbeaten. If this all plays out, Loris could be undefeated heading into Waverly on February 6th with the Conference Dual Meet Championships on the line. Yes, TJ Miller's dad is former Wartburg head coach Jim Miller. Crazy! In the NAIA, Embry-Riddle beat Warner Pacific and Eastern Oregon, but a notable win here was registered in Eastern Oregon's 34-10 win over Warner Pacific. Eastern Oregon's Drake Randall knocked off two-time All-American and 2016 NAIA national champion Blake Cooper 8-5 at 165 pounds. Randall trailed 5-4 heading into the third period, scored to escape a takedown, and then tacked on a riding time point for the big win. In the junior colleges, Clackamas topped North Idaho 34-14 in a battle of two traditional powerhouses. We also have some tournament scores to throw your way. Out in Marshall, Missouri, which according to the oldmat.com forums is a nice community. Shout out to any of you, or a gold star to any of you who can catch that reference. And hit me up on Twitter at Jason M. Bryant and tell me where it's from. Anyway, host Missouri Valley won the Missouri Valley Invitational, hence the term host, outdistancing Grandview 157-146. And before you freak out, Grandview's core of national champions did not wrestle. Regardless, this event is a solid one on the mostly NAIA calendar. It's kind of like, we get the Midlands and Scuffle in D1. In D3, it's like the Pete Wilson. In D2, it's like the Midwest Classic. Well, this is kind of like that big NAIA tournament during the year that's not quite the Nationals, but it's a pretty good cross-section of the teams. 8 different schools crowned champions, but none were crowned by the tournament champion Vikings. By the way, Missouri Valley Vikings, because Grandview is also the Vikings. Lindsey Wilson and Hastings each had 2 champions, with the notable coming at 149 pounds, where Cam Tassari, yes, that Cam Tassari, beat Tyler Fraley, say it with me, yes, that Tyler Fraley, 6-1 in the finals. Ithaca won the Empire Collegiate Wrestling Conference Championship on Saturday with 193.5 points. Brockport with Don Murray, who took over the program. Seriously, I make the Nixon administration joke quite a bit. Don Murray took over the Brockport wrestling program during the Nixon administration. Seriously. Anyway, Brockport, the Golden Eagles, were second with 179 points. The Bombers of Ithaca picked up championships at 141 pounds with Ben Brisman at 157 with Austin Whitney, Nick Velez at 165, and Jake Ashcraft at 184. Oneonta State All-American James Bethel picked up 3 falls and a major decision en route to the title at heavyweight. He pinned former Binghamton wrestler Connor Calkins in the finals in 32 seconds. Calkins is now at RIT. Messiah captured the Middle Atlantic Conference Championship, outdistancing second-place Delaware Valley 152.5 to 130. The Falcons crowned 5 champions: Stephen Maloney at 149, Jeff Hanaki at 165, 2016 Division III National Champion Ben Swore at 174, Victor DeFrance at 184, and Kyle Kozer at 197. On the women's side, McKendree hosted the Bearcat Open, and the host Bearcats winning 3 individual titles, as did second-ranked Campbellsville. McKendree picked up golds from Janae Samprak at 101, Megan Black at 130, and Brandy Lowe at 191 pounds. Campbellsville's Coral Sugiyama. That's just a cool name. Coral Sugiyama. Such a cool name. Pretty good wrestler, too. She won gold at 123 pounds, as did Grace Bullen at 136 and Kayla Miracle at 143. Miracle beat Alexis Porter 2-1 in a matchup of 2 outright hammers in women's wrestling. Oklahoma City's Rachel Waters topped Mariah Harris of Campbellsville for gold at 170. That's all I got for now. There's a lot of more score. There's a lot. Lattimore. That's from like that program, James Conn. Anyway, ESU. It was like Florida State, but it was like ESU, like East Stroudsburg. Anyway, there's a lot of scores and more on the Almanac's scoreboard page at MadTalkOnline.com. Click the scoreboard icon or go to almanac.madtalkonline.com. Sunday's going to be busy in college wrestling, so there's a lot of stuff. It's late as I record this, 1 a.m. Central Time on Sunday morning for the action on January 20th. So there's some scores I got to come back and get for the scoreboard from Saturday, but Sunday we'll have all the results, and I'd like to thank you for spending your time with... Oh, wait, let's stop. Mad Talk Online Preview Guide? Yep. Not Preview Guide, the Fan Guide. Yeah, the Fan Guide. The D1 Preview Fan Guide. That's awesome. Over 200 pages. Pre-sale begins now. You can use the promo code PODCAST to save $5. MadTalkOnline.com/FanGuide18. I've got some promo codes out there. If you've already bought the guide in the past, you should have gotten an email with a promo code to save you $5. If you listen to this show, and you're going to hear this promo code throughout the course of the Short Time Wrestling podcast and other shows, but use the promo code podcast. It'll save you $5. MadTalkOnline.com/FanGuide18. It'll be released March 13th. It's a digital guide. It's going to have all sorts of stats, facts, bar trivia, stuff that you can beat your friends in your fantasy wrestling leagues and your pick'em contests. Yeah, this thing is massive. It'll be the 5th year I do it. It is quite possibly the most elaborate, robust, statistical guide in the history of the world for wrestling. That's all I got. MadTalkOnline.com/FanGuide18. Use the promo code PODCAST, the offer code PODCAST, when you check out. Save you $5. Tell a friend, too. This thing is going to blow your freaking mind if you've never seen it before. I stake my entire rep, and I'm not sugarcoating this. This is not like a sales pitch, so overblowing it. I will stake my reputation that this is going to be the most complete thing you've ever read for the Division I National Championships. Pre-sale is available now. Digitally delivered March 13th, 10 a.m. You'll get it the Tuesday before Nationals and before you get on your plane and head to Cleveland. I guarantee you this thing will be awesome. MadTalkOnline.com/FanGuide18. Promo code PODCAST. Save yourself $5. Tell a friend. It's awesome. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me. I'm Jason Bryant, because you've always got time for Short Time. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to MadTalkOnline.com/GetShortTime to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at MadTalkOnline.com/listen.